Hello and welcome to IT Coach for Growing Businesses with your host, Aaron Swan, VCIO at InfoSystems. Thanks for joining us today.
I'd like to welcome our guest to another episode of our podcast. My guest today is David Marks. David is a senior solution architect for Red Hat Partner Development. For the first 20 years of David's career, he's been involved in consulting, building applications and application teams all over the world, including the US, Australia, Europe, and Mexico. For the last 10 years, David's been in the role of a pre-sales engineer for several large companies, helping customers implement both hardware and software solutions. So welcome, David. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's great seeing you, Aaron. Thank you for having me.
Oh, our pleasure. Appreciate you being here. At the time that we're recording this, we are still in the middle of the pandemic. So David, like me, we're recording from our home office today. I think you said you're sitting at your dining room table, right?
I am.
All right, I'm sitting in my home office here. So we've got a lot to get to today, so we're going to jump right in. So if you pay attention to IT at all, you know that open source is a hot topic in IT right now. I think a lot of our viewers are very familiar with the Wintel platform, Windows run on Intel and things like that. They may be a little less familiar with the concept of open source. I thought we'd start today. Could you just give maybe it's just a short little definition. What is open source and why should I care about it?
Yeah, that's a great question. Open source is really a hot topic right now. It's really where we're seeing a lot of innovation coming from, and that's why it's important, because we're seeing just an enormous amount of changes that are occurring in our industry through open source. And all open source is software that I can actually see the source code. I can inspect it. I can modify it. There's millions of these projects that are out there that are considered open source, and I'm bound by just a simple agreement with the actual software. So if I modify it and redistribute it, I have to give acknowledgement to the original upstream project. So, but what's really cool about it is that rather than having a few hundred folks working on solving the problem, I'm having a few thousand folks all around the world, all from different backgrounds, all different experience levels, all contributing in. An example would be with Ansible. There's over 7,000 contributors to that project.
Wow.
And proprietary software vendors just can't keep up with that level of innovation. So.
Right. Well, thank you for that. So I know that IBM recently purchased Red Hat. So congratulations on that. So can you give us an idea, why did IBM consider Red Hat strategic? Why were they excited about making that investment?
So that's a really great question. Why did IBM buy us for $34 billion? Well, I believe it's several reasons. The first reason is our open source software development model. Although we have no intellectual property because everything's been open source, really our culture is one that fuels innovation. And I believe IBM recognized that. I think the second reason why IBM bought us is really the cloud wars, all the cloud vendors that are out there, and everybody has their proprietary solution for deploying applications to the cloud. However, Red Hat with OpenShift, we have a solution that will go across any cloud. You can deploy your applications across any cloud within VMware or even on premises using bare metal. The look and feel is all the same.
I think that is a very key distinction too, because I know that's one of the frustrations we run into many times with the cloud platforms is the fact that lack of continuity, that lack of consistency across the board. So yeah, I think that's a very powerful addition that you have.
Oh yeah, and what's really interesting too is when people focus only on one cloud solution, they get locked into that cloud vendor. And these agreements come up for renewal at least every 3 years, and
they're sticky, aren't they?
they are sticky. You're stuck. Yeah, you're stuck, or you're having to do a lot of rework. With
Right.
OpenShift, everything's portable.
Very good. All right. So, we've been, and I should probably say we've not used the word Linux much in this, but that's where Red Hat got their start, right, is in the idea of Linux. And of course, as you said, you've grown now. You're more than just an OS company. You're into the application space as well. But let's go back to Linux for a moment. There's a lot of Linux out there, a lot of different builds of it. Why Red Hat? Why? Linux is at its heart an open source platform that I can go out and I can go get a free copy and I can tweak it. But why Red Hat? Why would I want to, in a business, look at paying for a Red Hat subscription? What does that get me?
Yeah, so it's the value in the Red Hat subscription. Well, let me give you some stats that might open your eyes. 1/3 of all of Fedora in the past 3 years has been completely rewritten. Now, Fedora is the open source project that fuels Red Hat Enterprise Linux. So if you look at it within the 3-year period, 1/3 of the code base has completely changed. If I look at Kubernetes within a 3-year period, 95% of the code base has changed. So with this absolutely fast innovation that is occurring within open source, there is a downside, and that's one of stability, right? And so that's why within Red Hat Enterprise Linux, it gets stabilized, tested. We even have a security team that actually works to make sure that security fixes are identified early and are patched as well. And so what we provide with the subscription is really 2 categories of benefits. First category is access. We give you enterprise grade software. It's fully documented. It's easy to install. We have a full, rich knowledge base that you can pull from to answer all sorts of types of questions. And this is across all of our products. Also, too, we give you access to emerging technology. I mentioned OpenShift earlier, but OpenShift is not just one upstream project. It's actually several upstream projects all working together, to provide the solution itself. It's a whole platform with Kubernetes at its heart. Also, too, all of our products, we design them to be managed easily. The carrying and feeding of our products, we take great pains to ensure that they're easily managed, that we have subscription watch to know what subscriptions you own. We have, if you decide to go with Ansible, we have an analytics portion of that will actually look at your Ansible jobs to make sure that they're running properly across the enterprise. So we take great pains in that. Now, I have not even mentioned support yet. And that's probably the biggest thing, is that we support all the software that we provide. We give you 2 levels of support. We give you premium, which is exactly what you'd expect from an enterprise company. But also, too, we give you standard support. So if you need Monday through Friday, 9 to 6 p.m. support, it's lower cost. You can use that as well. We wouldn't recommend it for production systems, but for non-production, non-critical systems, it's maybe the way to go. Everything we provide is security hardened, from the operating system all the way up. And also, too, we give you a life cycle that a lot of our products, the life cycle on them is 7, 8, 9, even 10 years in length. And then secondly, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, and then secondly, we provide advocacy. Advocacy is the other areas. First is access, but also advocacy. So we engage these open source projects. We probably participate in several hundred of them. Not all of them become products, but We participate in them to make sure that our customers' needs are being reflected in the project itself, that enterprise-grade features are actually baked into the software. We also have rich partner relationships. Each one of the major cloud vendors, we have a tight relationship with, and you can oftentimes find images or managed services based around our products on those cloud vendors. And then as security needs change, threats change, right? As technology changes. And we're in there actually ensuring that that those needs are being met, that those are being reflected in the software themselves. So that's all the work that we do with communities.
I think you make some very strong cases there. I mean, just along the lines of stability, support. Any IT guy who's worth his salt, and probably any business owner that's been in it at any time, knows that when trouble comes, you want that number that you can call to get support and be able to get help. And then security is an excellent point. The world that we live in, the threat level, seems to continue to increase. All you have to do is turn on the news daily and you see that. So knowing that those platforms have been hardened, there's someone looking out for that. I think that's super important. Well, you've mentioned Ansible a couple of times. I'd like for us to maybe conclude our time today just kind of talking about it. Just the whole concept of management and automation. Those are top of mind topics for a lot of people right now. I know Ansible can help in those areas. Maybe talk a little bit about that. What is Ansible? How does it help? What do I get if I invest there?
So Ansible is, and there's an open source project named Ansible as well, and it's our product as well. We call it the Ansible Automation Platform. And it really consists of three components. There's a software component, and the software is made up of the engine itself. It reads a very simple scripting language. It's designed called YAML, yet another markup language. It's very easy to read. It executes it sequentially, so you know exactly what's happening. But we also too have a single pane of glass environment, a GUI environment that you can manage all your scripting. So between the engine and this GUI environment, I can build scripts and share them across my enterprise to do all sorts of automation. And in fact, Ansible, the project itself, is one of the busiest projects that are out there. I think it's within the top 10 busiest projects out there in the internet and on these open source projects. And in fact, Ansible expertise is probably, I believe it's the top 3 expertise sought for in hiring people. So there's just a huge demand for Ansible right now. And really its place is to automate routine tasks. If I have to do things more than say 3 times, I should have an automation script for it. And it makes it very easy to automate. There's over 4,000 modules that are out there covering all types of technology. So the support for it in the marketplace is huge. So whether I want to automate provisioning to a server or opening some ports on a firewall, I can do that very easily using Ansible.
So if I'm a business owner and my staffing budget is small, or if I'm an IT guy and I feel like management wants me to do more and more with less people,
yes,
Ansible will be my friend, right? The fact
Absolutely.
that I can automate those tasks and rather than be, doing it the old-fashioned way, I hit a button, those scripts run, and the things get done for me. I think that's exciting for everyone concerned.
Well, and the other thing too that people forget is that you want it done the same way all the time, right?
Absolutely.
These security gaps are caused by people forgetting manual effort. So even Microsoft uses Ansible. They use it for their help desk. They've automated 97 to 98% of some of their routine help desk tickets.
Very nice. That's
Again.
nice. It's a very nice feather to have in your cap or your red hat, I guess. So,
Yeah, it is.
well, thank you, David,
Yeah.
for hanging out with us today and answering a few questions. If you're viewers, if you have more questions or like to know more about how Red Hat might be able to help you in your business, up on our blog at infosystems.biz, which is our company website, you can go there and get more information. You can see case studies, just get more information about how to connect and perhaps at a demo or just talk more about how Red Hat can help you in your business. Thanks again, David, for your time today. And I wish you well and wish all of our viewers well. We will see you next time.